Hello guys, welcome to the Tormek Sharpening Studio. I'm happy we meet again. Today is the third episode of our live sharpening class, and today we're planning on doing chisel, plane blades, but also discussing a bit about our different grinding wheels. As usual, please ask questions and we'll try to answer them during the show. For the questions we don't have time for, we will please comment and we will answer them afterwards. It's fun to see people from all over the world logging in today as well. We have people from US, Zimbabwe, Italy, Stockholm, so that's Sweden, really all over the world, just like Netherlands, of course, as well. I should perhaps present myself for you who haven't seen me before. My name is Sébastien and I'm a country sales manager here at Tormek. And with me, as always, I have, as I call him, the sharpening doctor, Wolfgang Hess. You can present yourself, Wolfgang.
Yeah, this is it, Wolfgang Hess. I'm also sales manager and responsible for Central, South and East Europe. Yeah, I think we start straight in and we don't forget, of course, Kalle behind the camera.
The eminent Carl, stable as always. Hi, welcome Carl.
Hello,
Great, so we will be going on for about an hour today as well. But before we start sharpening, I thought I would talk a bit about the different grinding wheels. So Carl, if you come closer here to the grinding wheels, and I will go through them briefly. So the first stone we have here is the SG250. It's our original grindstone, which is included in all our machines. And I would say it's the most versatile of all our stones. You can change the grit of the stone or the surface between 220 and 1000 grits. That's one of the reasons why it's so versatile. It is a synthetic stone, aluminum oxide stone, and it works with all types of steel. A very good all-round stone, and it's also available for the T4. If we go on, we have the SB250, the Blackstone Silicion. This has historically and still is very popular among wood turners. It's great to shape and sharpen HSS and other exotic alloyed steels. This stone is a bit more brittle than the SG stone. It has small and very sharp particles in it. You can also change the grade or the surface from 220 until 1000 grits, and you use our stone grader to change it, the SP650. This is not available on the T4, only on the T8 or other older, bigger machines. It is a also synthetic stone. It's a silicon carbide stone. Then we go over to a personal favorite of mine, and I know it's popular out there as well, the SG250, our Japanese Waterstone. This is a polishing stone, 4000 grit, and it's to make a real mirror finish. I don't know if it shines through the camera, but it's a really fine surface. This is popular for carving tools or small tools. You get a perfect mirror finish, and also for knives that you want to give some extra attention or love, what would it say? So that are the three stones we have. I was going to say something about pros and cons, stones compared to diamonds. The pros of the stones is that you can always reset the stone. So if you make a mistake or if you have a groove in the stone, you can always reset it to its original surface with the TT50, which is an advantage. You can also round the edges on the stones, which makes that you can sharpen the inside of certain curved tools and so on, and it makes it more versatile than the diamond that way. And the cons would be that you need to true the stone. So when you get grooves, for example, a wood turner, you need to true the stone quite often, which you will not have to do with diamonds. And that is shortly about the stones. If we continue with our diamond friends, what could be said about the diamonds is that you can run them dry. We recommend with water, and our anti-corrosion concentrate. The disadvantage when you run them dry is that you will have particles in the air, so it's more healthy to run them in the water. And also, with the water, it helps to see where you're sharpening the tool. Therefore, we recommend with water. The first of our diamond wheels is the diamond wheel course, the DC250. It's 300. The grit is 360, and this is more to if you want to shape or if you have a real dull edge and you want to shape a tool. It removes a lot of material. It's the most aggressive of our wheels we have. It works as a finish, but I would not recommend. I would have another stone to make the finish, because I find the surface, it's more to take away material, I would say, the diamond wheel course. Then we have the diamond wheel fine, which is our most all-round diamond wheel. And this is the one I would recommend for a wood turner, for example. Here you remove steel, but you also get a good finish at the same time. This is the one we sell the most of, and if I would recommend just for the average user one stone, it's the diamond wheel fine I would recommend. It is 600 grit. And then we have the diamond wheel extra fine, 1200 grit. This is a finer surface if you want a perfect finish, for example, for carving tools or knives that you want a nice finish on. That is short. I will tell you a bit pros and cons, or pros with the diamond wheels. I would say that a pro is, sorry, I lost it. I'm coming back soon. Yes, the pro is that it never needs truing. So you're always on the same diameter and you never need to true the stone, which makes that you save time. And also, if you, for example, want to change between the wheels, you don't have to reset it. So if you have shapen a tool on the DC250 and then you go to the fine or the extra fine, you don't need to make the settings a second time, which is a huge advantage. Also, you can sharpen on the side of the stones with help of our MB100, which is an advantage, for example, if you want to avoid a concave blade and you want a perfect straight. Here you have the opportunity to do that with the diamond wheels. You can also sharpen ceramic knives. Ceramic is very hard, but on the diamond wheel it works perfectly. And it's extremely efficient with HSS steels and other harder steel sorts. The cons is that it can't be resetted, so if it's just one layer of diamonds, so if you do a mistake, you can't set them back to previous. So if you take away a diamond, that's the end of the stone, the wheel I was going to say. But so when you use the diamond wheels, they have a very long lifespan, but you have to be very careful. The traditional Tormek users are sometimes used to put pressure on the wheels, which you don't need to do on the diamond wheels, because pressure doesn't make it go faster and you risk to damage the wheels. So no pressure on the diamond wheels, especially in the beginning. The diamonds are very aggressive, and the risk is even greater for them to loosen from it. So it has a running period. Be careful, not too much pressure. I spoke a lot. I think I went through the basics of the wheels. Do you have anything you want to add, Wolfgang, regarding the wheels?
I think you have mentioned everything. The only thing which maybe I would like to highlight, as you said about pressure, in the beginning the diamond wheels are quite aggressive, so use less pressure at all or no pressure at all, and then after a while they will decrease in the performance. You feel it quite fast, but then you are on that grid what they are supposed to be, so that's absolute normal. Don't be afraid if you thought, oh, now it's very aggressive, what happens? So that's absolute normal for diamond wheels. And when we talk about pressure, with the diamond wheels, important, don't use pressure just until maybe your fingertips get a little bit wide. So that's maybe half a kilo, that's absolutely enough. And for the stones, you can apply a little bit more pressure, but the risk is also there. Most people think a lot of pressure, you sharpen a little bit faster. That's not the absolute truth, especially here by the Blackstone. As you said, Sebastian, they are quite brittle. When you apply a lot of pressure on the crystals, they will crack into much smaller crystals, and then that means you get a finer grit. That means also you have to sharpen much longer. So a lot of pressure doesn't give you a faster result. It's more or less the same here too. You have mostly also, you will crack them or press them in the bearing material, in the filler material where they're embedded. So mostly less pressure is more, and just work with the SP650 with the stone grader. It's much more efficient if you just rough up the surface or smooth it on the other side.
I don't know if I was clear enough, but for the T8 or the other bigger machines, the predecessors, all these wheels are comfortable. For the T4, you can have the SG200, so the original stone, and the Japanese Waterstone. So for the T4, you only have those two options, and for the bigger machines, you have all options.
Yeah, I would say this is more or less good. Everything.
That was the wheels. Should we do some sharpening? We're normally here to sharpen. Should we start with a chisel?
Yeah, just we take a chisel.
I leave the stage to you, Wolfgang.
Yep. And we filled up the water. We will turn the, where's the button here? Turn around the machine. I prefer to sharpen from behind. Some people do it from the front. There's no right or wrong, but we do it here in the vertical position. And for the chisel, we will use where is it here? The SE-77, which is normally supplied with the T8. And if you have the T4 or the older model and you want to purchase separately, absolutely no problem. And we had a few questions also about the old one and the new one. Functionality is more or less the same for the straight edges as it was supposed. I will just close here. And the construction of the SE-77 is we have the bottom plate, and we have here a corner where we will have a stop here. Also in the front you see here. And this screw you can move. And this is the difference to the SE-76, which we had before the 77 also supplied with the T7. So you can move this. And then we have made that shape. The old one is straight. So we took this a little bit away so we can come closer to the stone. That means if you have Japanese chisel or shorter chisels or instrument planer blades, the very small ones, you can do this there too now, because you come much closer. And then additional 2 small screws, which I want to explain. We can make a radius on it. And then some people ask always, oh, there are 2 screws for what they are. They are for the security, which I will explain when I do it. So this is mostly the difference between those two, and the huge advantage, which makes really the sharpening for chisels and planer blades complete. These are these 2 screws, which I explain when you have the planer blade. So to fix a planer blade, we go in here between and go on that side. And for example, I make a small marking. Sometimes it's very good because you keep less hassle with the adjustments. And you see, I press it against the edge, which gives me the 90 degree. And then I take this screw, just place it closer. When you look here in the front, Carl, do you see this gap here between the, I'll make it a little bit more. So this is also important that the mirror side, this is this side, it's on the top flat and on the side. That guarantees you the 90 degrees of the edge, because the old one, where we couldn't change this position, they screwed here quite hard and put it up and bend it because you have quite good power, and then the chisel went a little bit, not flat on the surface, and then you end up also on the stone, not flat, you come up a little bit. to the side, and then you get also no 90 degrees. So this is something to check, press it against, and then nicely parallel on both sides. Don't overdo it, just when it's hard, it's done, not like some people do it a little bit extra twist. Then you will destroy the threads. So now we have fixed it. Then we use this screw, take it off and place it on the universal support. And then we go over, place it here. And this is, just I want to show it, we can place it in here on the side. It's also both for the T7 and the T4 or T8 for all the machines the same. We have the US support 105 or 103. They have the thread on the side. So that means we don't fall off. So that means I go on that side with that screw, what we placed for, and place it behind and block it. So we don't fall off the stone. This is very good for schools.
It makes it very safe. I have done it myself. When you fall off and you sharpen your finger, there's no danger, but it hurts.
It hurts because, especially if they are not rounded and they are absolutely angled then.
And I often say if you do the right settings, then a chisel is amongst the easiest to sharpen because everything is fixed. You can't really make mistake. You can, if you have put all the settings right, you can let your 7-year-old do the sharpening.
Absolutely.
It's that easy.
I can show you, take the fingers over when you have everything installed and the machine is running. So this is really the easiest way and really, really secure. And another point is when you use it for other tools and you change something on the screws, please check that this line here is aligned, these two lines here. If you discover that you're not 100% in the angle, but just check it a little bit, half a line below or above, so that you're absolutely pleased with your result.
That is called the micro adjustment, so you can make the fine tuning.
So, then we're fixed.
Should we, before we start, should we tell that we can
because,
move that?
Because I moved it. I talked and haven't done it.
The advantage with the new one compared to the SE-76 is that we can place it all very close to the tool, so you don't risk
really flat also.
Yes, you don't have this bend as you talked. Sometimes was a
Otherwise
problem with this 76.
It is like this in the tool, and then you sharpen more here than here, then you get not a straight chisel. So this is important. Then of course important is that the stone is flat, parallel to the universal support. You can lower it just to 0.5 millimeter and check the light, and you see if it's straight. And then always I try to highlight every time, because there's a little bit a gap in here, because otherwise it will block. But when you fix it, always hold here, fix that screw first, and then just this, because otherwise when you're a little bit, you see in the movement here, you will don't end up with a straight edge. So that's quite, if you make this to your routine habit, just press here first, close it, and then that side. So now to the angel. We will use the Angle Master 250 again. And always when we use it, we will check the diameter. I've done it before. So it's 245, and we put here 245. If you have a T4, you start at 200 and counting downwards with the scale here in the T4, and we start with 250 with the T8 or T7. Then maybe I repeat it again here. Some people have maybe haven't seen the last volume. We have two scales. The bottom scale is that what we use, and the top scale we use it for when we sharpen on the side. And we have also placed here MB100. This is our multi-base 100, because it's slightly a little bit different, so you have to add 18 degrees. So, if you don't know the angle of your chisel, there are two ways. Use the pen version, what we also do, or you can check here, go on, this way. most and standard is 25. Because 22 you don't get in all the way, really. And 30 is a big gap here. And 25 is the standard. So I use also 25 degrees here. And then we place it on the stone. And then again from the side, we place it on the stone, the edge on the stone, on the exactly where the stone and the tool comes together. We place all the three together, and then you see we have a little gap. So don't measure here, because here it looks right, but this is the wrong position. Always measure here. And so that means I have to come a little bit up, and it's also a little bit a tip. Go always from a lower angle up to, I want a little bit too much, so from a lower angle to a higher angle, it's much easier. Go out from the machine with the micro adjustment with the screw here. Maybe Carl come around here, you see it? With that screw here, I've fixed it already. So this screw, use that upwards, not downwards, then it's a little bit tricky. It works also, but it's much more comfortable. Start a little bit lower. So this is one version when we use the Angle Master. The other version, which is always the fastest. Also, if you have always 25, it's very fast and easy too. But for angles, you never know what you have. Then just blacken the surface with our Tormek edge marker.
And the same as with the knife, the black marker also tells you that you are taking the whole surface. So it
Exactly.
not only for the angle, but also to give you comfort that you're on the right path. It's a good...
You can do that way or that way. And we'll see if you hit exactly. No, we are a little bit too high, too low. So we have to go a little bit upwards. Not reached. So, if it's enough. We are getting better, but not enough. It's very tiny, a little bit in the tip. So you see, you can really adjust it very well. Now we are complete on the surface. And it means also we have touched everything. And you see from the beginning it was a little bit too low. So then, oops, fix it here, closed on it. And for the beginners, it's always good to have this. And now, as you say, we start the machine, water, everything okay, and then you can leave it. This is so beautiful for the children. They can use it. I use it from the back side because I can move here, have nice, light, a little bit pressure here, good control. You can do it also from this side. Some people do it from that side. This is really up to you because it's fixed. I had in Switzerland, one guy had the first automatic Tormek, fully automatic. He had the rubber band around here, put a broomstick, fixed it around, went off for a cup of coffee, finished.
So not even the 7-year-old, he had a broomstick sharpening.
But I prefer to control what I do.
Yes.
So when you go, use all the stone, and when you go over the edge, go both sides the same way out, as we have from one side to the other side. Because when you do only like this here, that means you sharpen 100% here, and here only 50%, because you're off the stone, off the stone, off the stone, or on the other side. When you do it, then you will end up, you sharpen more here than here, you end up also not a straight chisel. So therefore it's important, even, and it's so small, it's easy just to stand on the stone. And we want to use, of course, the stone even. That means, otherwise we get a groove when we stand only in one position, like the guy in Switzerland. So we want to
use the entire stone, like with all other tools on the Tormek when you use the wheels.
And you see, we feel also the burr, really a strong burr. we touched all the face straight.
Now your chisel wasn't that badly damaged, but if you have a more badly damaged chisels, I have seen them that look horrible sometimes.
Yep.
Sometimes you can use the SP650 to make the surface rougher, so it goes faster.
Absolutely, we can just make a little bit an edge in there and do the same thing. Just to place this. And then to do it faster, as I said, we can roughen up again with the stone. And, but it's not so damaged. But we see, I think, Carl, when you take the camera, you see a really nice 0.5 mm check here. You see it on that side? You see it? In the water, it's nearly like a magnifier, you see it better. And then we just go over. Take it over and take it off. This is what I mean, just over the edge, and you hear already roughen it up a little bit. You hear also in the sound. And as the Sébastien said, just till the fingernails are getting white, then you have enough. It was quite deep.
You shouldn't be damaging tools like that.
Yeah, exactly. But it's good to show. But even this is normally maybe what you have in standard with a lot of small these tooth in there.
If you hit the nail or you hit the...
Yeah, exactly. Now it's gone. So, to get a nicer and finer finish than this rough one here, and this is what you want normally for your chisels or for in the wood carving, just use the fine side of the stone, move it that you don't get a groove in the SP650, but 15, 20 seconds, sometimes takes a little bit longer when you go really from one end, that's when it's quite rough, to the very fine one, to 1000. So sometimes takes a little bit longer, but now it's really nice and flat. And then we go just on it and give it a little bit a nicer, finer finish. And then we go on the ladder wheel, and then we hear already in the sound, it's really...
It's completely something completely different.
Much finer, it doesn't sound so rough. And how fast you go like here, or just sometimes you like a little bit meditation, just slower and even over.
And now also we will be doing it after this on the Japanese Waterstone is ideal to get a really nice mirror finish. And you will gain time also by doing it finer here and then going to the Japanese Waterstone.
The jump is from 220 to 4000. It's much too big, so it's easier. You have to step between 1000. And normally when I would go now on the Japanese stone, I would go directly on the Japanese stone. But I want to show you how to hone it without, and what you get also a nice polished edge. But you will still have the small grooves, which we can take totally off with the Japanese stone. So when you feel a burr, it means you have always reached the side. Then you can hone, of course, with the universal support also from that side. This is maybe for a beginner. We're quite in there. So take this off. This is then in the way. You can do it that way, and then just you have to adjust to get the right angle in there. Some people make also then just a secondary, they take 2 screws a little bit outwards and take the tip a little bit extra. This is of your preference. What we do, mostly when you're skilled, we do it freehand, and I want to show you how to do it. I don't know, Carl, you want to show it from this side? Maybe then you see also how I have in the angle. just have to apply a little bit of the paste when I'm not using more than in the tip. This is absolutely enough. And how often do we use it? When we feel there's no really effect. The easiest way would be to go straight on that side and take off the burr. But what we do to get the perfect edge, we start from behind, because this is around 3000 grit, the paste, and we polish and more or less sharpening the bevel, the burr from behind off. Because when you go straight on that side, we will rip it off and we will destroy the edge. So how do I start? I start always on the heel, and you can use the machine here. This is really happen nothing, but it's slow, good control. I give a good grip because it draws forward, so I have always my finger here that I can adjust it. And then I put it on the back side, and then just I lift it up, and you hear the sound. And do you hear the difference? I start again, it's scraping, and then I go very fine. When you're on the bevel, you don't nearly hear anything, it's just very fine. And then you see also the small ripples coming off. And when you look on the leather, then it's also more or less a little bit more polished, because when they have grooves, then there's still the burr left. We check, it's still there. Again, from behind. Or some people, they go just down the stone. You hear? Then also that you're exactly on the bevel. And then it's like surfing on a wave. You don't have any resistance. And you see my thumb controls here really good. And in the 90 degrees, and you see already a really nice polish. And now here the burr is very, very little. It's nearly off, nearly not to feel. And then we start to take the rest of the burr off. And this is called, as Sébastien said before, a mirror side. This is your future edge in the end. If you have old ones which have rust and stain here, really clean it off, grind it flat, and then polish it. The better you have this mirror side, the better is your edge. And then I start the first about 5 to 10 seconds always, just not getting to the tip, just over the mirror side and polish it off. The more you do it, the finer it gets. And then in the end, it's about 12 o'clock, horizontally, I draw it back until I see, and then you hear it already a little bit. Then I take off the rest of the burr. Don't go too far down, then you make it round, or lift it too high. Really flat. So then you don't feel it, because you feel already when it goes round, then you were too much up the way in the angle. So it's just from that side, a little bit extra. So a little bit paper, clean it from the rest of the paste, and then Carl can see the finish.
Do you want to show already now how sharp it is, and we show also after? Or
we can do after the Japanese.
After, okay, we go all the way.
Yep. So you see it, nice. And then just to test if you don't have any burr, like with the knife, I go just over the nail in the tip. If I don't feel anything, then it's perfect. And then even it bites already in the nail, it sticks. So this is one way. And now we go to do the same thing on the Japanese stone, and then we see the difference. Just stop the machine. And during that, you can check maybe questions.
Yes, I thought perhaps I could let you set up the Japanese stone, and perhaps Carl can show how easy it is to change the stones if you come from the side. And
it is the easy lock. The old machines have a nut, then you need a tool. But the new ones with the stainless steel main shaft, so it's against, then the screw is open. It's impossible to take it off just without tools, but don't use tools, otherwise you will destroy it. It's very easy. go against. And we take it off. Then sometimes, oops, don't want here, place it here. If you have an older machine, for example, and you don't get it off with the nut, then you have to take off the leather wheel and take out the shaft and then use Caramba or WD-40 or some oil.
But with the Easy Lock, it's really easy. And also, if you see, it locks itself afterwards.
And then you see, I go only just till stop here. And when you start the machine, bloof, and it's blocked. It's impossible to open by hand. So you can't overdo it. And it's very easy and very fast. So
I'll let you work with the Japanese stones, and we'll take some questions during the time.
Yep.
Can you do two things at the same time, Wolfgang?
Sure, sure.
Great.
Just explain the clamping and everything is absolute mounting is the same as before.
Same procedure.
And finding the angle.
Let's see. We have Art here who is asking, can you use the stone for the mirror side? So, for example, I don't know if you have paint or whatever on the back side of the chisel.
On that side, yeah.
Yes, then you just press it.
You just come around.
On the side?
On the outside, without a jig, of course.
Yeah.
Go quite close so you can hold with your hand here and then flat on the outside. You can sharpen it off on the flat side, so that's no problem. Exactly. Or sometimes with a good sandpaper flat on the table.
Yeah. But as we said, the mirror side is important, so if you have a lot of scratches or paint or whatever, it's good to clean that side as well.
It's like, if you think this is the upside here of my chisel, you have the grooves here, the grooves in here, and you look from the front and you have the edge, then you have like a zigzag. Yeah. So you'll never get a perfect edge.
No, exactly. We had a couple of questions regarding the stones before. If the Blackstone is thought for the T4, we have no such plans at the moment, unfortunately. Do I need to true the Japanese stone? Was another question. You don't need to true it. You can true the Japanese stone. Be very gentle if you do that, because it's very brittle. The only reason I see when you need truing is if you get a catch or something in the stone, then you can true it. But it works perfectly well. It's more brittle than the SG, so be a bit more careful. Dennis wanted us to show the TT50, how we true it correctly. I think we'll have to do it another episode because we're kind of tight schedule. Otherwise, there are videos on YouTube which shows how to true it correctly. Rick, he asked if you have a new flat bevel and you use a marker method, since you don't have the concavity from the wheel, how do I know when it's right? You just hit the center.
Exactly. When you make the scratch in the middle of the bevel, if it's a bevel, you scratch in the middle.
Exactly. Then you're right. Harvey Tools, one of our resellers, asked when do you use the oil? And you use the oil just the first time.
Exactly.
And also, if it has been standing for a very long time and it feels a bit dry, you can use the oil. If you have lost the oil because you have just one tube, you can use sewing machine oil as well. But normally the paste,
a little bit, then it's too late.
The paste has some oil in it, so it will make it not dry. David asked when to use more paste. You don't want it
overloaded.
No.
When you have too much, everything is falling down. As I said, just a little bit that in the tip. And when you feel it doesn't happen anything, just apply a little bit more. And if you get too much, I will show you how you can get rid of it on the leather wheel. Yeah. I'm just a few strokes over.
Keep going. I have questions to answer, so you
okay.
Just keep working.
4,000 takes a little bit of while, but it's my favorite stone for knives, for everything.
It's fantastic.
It's not only looking nice, it gives also the little bit extra razor sharp edge.
And then I had someone who asked about the ACC 150. What does it do? The ACC 150 is an anti-corrosion concentrate. And when you have small steel particles, that will come on the diamond wheels or on the regular wheel, it won't break, but it will have an unpleasant color, and this helps it to stay nice and shiny. And it can be good through the tools as well, because you get some of it on, because we had another question here about the rust on a knife. If you use ACC 150, it protects it a bit more from rust as well, since it's an anti. Good. How are you coming along?
I want just something also to explain. We have got in the Swedish edition a question about also to clean, or can I use the SP650 on the Japanese stone? So
I think we got the same question here as well.
Okay, perfect. Then we get that. You can use it, but there are a few things you have to have in mind. You see, it's getting black here. This is just fine metal, and because this stone is quite closed, so sometimes you get a feeling nothing happens because it's blocked. You can clean it. And the easiest way to clean the Japanese stone is also using the stone grader, the SP650. But of course, it would be the fastest way to use the rough side. But what you do when you use that, there are some small particles. You will rip out, or you press it because it's quite soft, the stone. You will press it in the surface. That means you have always one small particle which sharpens your scratch in your nice polished surface. So always use, in that case, the fine side and just go over. Then you see already it's getting blue again. So you get rid of the black. Then it's much, much easier. You see there's also a little bit deeper point where it's black, and then you can just check it if there's something in there or it's fine and smooth. Also for knives you can round the edges a little bit, it keeps it a little bit safer. And just the last few, you see how fast it gets black, but it gives you the really nice extra finish. So I think you can show it to Carl.
Have you done a good job, Wolfgang?
You see still a very nice shiny lines there, but this is just a few strokes more.
Yeah.
Then you get rid of them. And even there you get sometimes a very, very fine burr for from the Japanese stone. Most people say maybe even for hooning, but I go just around you because the camera. So I also do the same. Just there's normally no meaning going back to the ladder, but there's a fine burr which we take off. Nice.
Now, sharpening test.
We tried. We have a little bit a paper block.
Moment of truth, Wolfgang.
Moment of truth. So this is really live. Hopefully we don't cut. No, I don't need any power at all. You see, really nice, and how very thin.
You seem to have done you passed the test, I think.
So I think
perfect.
We've done this one. Quite nice, I think.
We have Jens here who asks a discount code for Japanese Waterstone. You can go to a local reseller saying you know Wolfgang and hope for the best, but I don't think it will work. No, sorry, we don't have any discount codes. Time is flying when we're having fun, so I think we should keep moving and perhaps show plain blades and also plain blades with a bit rounded with a radius.
Exactly. I have two blades here, just to show to Carl. This is the straight one, and then we have a little bit of radius here, or sometimes you want just the tips rounded a little bit. And there the two screws come into the blade here. That means when I sharpen the planer blade. It's exactly like the chisel, flat in here, to the side, hold it, and then go over and then just clamp it parallel. Exactly the same. And then you use, again, 25, 30 degrees, depends what your chisel has. You use the marker method,
Yes.
with a Tormek marker or with a angle master, exact like with the chisel. And if, for example, the carpenters, they want just slightly rounded off the edges because they rip off the fibers when you go across to the fibers, then you have the 2 screws. What you can do, you open a little bit, and then you see already what you get. Then you can just, on that side, sharpen a little bit, and then on the other side, then you get a little bit them off. To make a radius, is this the wrong position? For radius, you should change. It's the same, clamping on the side, and then you have one problem. This line you see here, this is the center of the turning point, and this is not centered, it is here. So therefore we go not that side, so we go in the middle of the blade. If you have a blade like this with a hole in here, you can maybe, if you sharpen it often, make a small marking on both sides that it's really in the middle. Or if you have a blade which is completely closed, make a centered line, and then you align it with that line. And then, this is very helpful, a small angle. You see, sometimes it looks like it's straight, but you can place it absolutely straight. Then it's perfect symmetrical, the radius.
We had a question about the small black knobs there.
Yeah.
They are for several reasons. This is one of the reasons.
One of the reasons, exactly. Just we finished that, and
yes,
we
of course.
we can. You see, and then the angle. Okay, it's here a little bit too steep. We should go a little bit down. I see already. Oh. So that would be, and the marker method or with the angle master exactly the same. But then you can sharpen. The more you open, the more is the radius, and then you can sharpen really that shape too. So this is one functionality, and then
the micro adjustment.
The micro adjustment.
Make small.
Exactly. If, for example, you don't get, now we have a perfect aligned here, but if you have a tool which is, I tip it off, it looks like that. So if it's not straight, for example, you sharpen like that, then you can adjust exactly the position, and then you fix them. So you don't have them open, you just block them a little bit off the 90 degrees in that way, or in that way, depends where it goes off. So then you can make also a nice small marking on the tip, there you know where to stop, because don't go further, because then you have it straight, but even the bevel is then off again. You need just the front side straight, and then you have to go back in the normal standard 0 position, and then you sharpen the bevel. Then it's absolute straight again. Maybe a small tip for a heavy damage chisel. I don't know if I've mentioned it, to straighten it up very fast, because the surface is quite big, and it's sometimes faster to repair, and this is for most wood carving tools. So I go a little bit closer to the stone, and then I go, the machine you see is rotating that way. I don't do it on the Japanese stone because it's too soft. Just underneath, because you get automatically pressed up, then you hold it, and then you go just straight on the stone, and then you can just repair this side or that side to make it beautiful straight again.
And then you get, if it's badly damaged.
Yeah, and then you get this silver line when you look on the top, and when you sharpen, you just control that you go nicely parallel to it and take the material off to just get off again the silver line to get a nice straight bevel.
we were talking about showing how to sharpen on the side of the diamond wheel, the chisel.
Yes, absolutely. Just take this off.
I thought we should show that. Ted asked if the stops were an add-on. No, the stops are on.
Or on the two, they are supplied in that way. So one stop is here, there's the ring, placed here. Just fix it here, and the small knob, it is in this. Also, they are supplied in that way. It's no add-on. So we'll change again the Japanese stone against to the diamond wheel. And maybe we should mention, just to be sure, you can't drew them. You can't use the SP650 on them, then you will destroy. The stones are like they are.
No, exactly.
They don't need any preparation, just blocked. So, and what we don't have, because no time, maybe also a small tip, when you have the water in here, have the rough stone, then go to a Japanese stone, very often you have maybe small particles in there, you get them on the stone, so best is to change also the water.
Yeah, to make sure you...
Because you don't like to infect or contaminate your water with rough material when you go very fine.
Exactly.
Here's a small tip on the side, not on the top. So, when we go on the side here, we go...
Wolfgang?
Yes, the most important.
Do you want to have the honors?
Have a small sip. We take about 10, we have a quarter liter there, 10 centiliters. You have the scale here. It's good. Hold a finger, give a little bit a shot, and check. Oh, yeah, that was perfect. So,
you're on fire today.
Yes. Good eyesight. New glasses. So
they're not only looking good, they're also working.
So. You see, you have the multi-base is absolute perfect. You can use it in all the positions. We make a special on this too because it's so versatile. And even here, I go just roughly that position. This is how it suits you best. Go with the support here. And as you see, you come with the support onto the side. I don't block anything because I want to just adjust a little bit the we go clamp it again on the side, parallel, close it here, a little bit open it is. So, check here if it's back on zero, a little bit too much back. So these both are fixed and you have nice line. To sharpen on the side helps you also to get always 90 degrees. If you have problems in that other position, go on the outside. It's beautiful. Then you see, I use again this because it's a nice stop. Otherwise it goes all the way down. So I can maybe stop it here. Then I have only here, that way. I look for a nice, good position here on the stone. Go a little bit like this. So. And then the marker method, flatten it, always my angle master. Then if you want 25 degrees, we have not used this one, then we have to use here these 25. That means 43 degrees, also 15 plus 18. Just hold it, so. And then we have a little bit, a deeper part here. So we try to avoid not going like this, really measure here. And then we go on the side to show you this very good. I have to go a little bit out.
And since you have a diamond wheel, it's not as important to use the whole surface because you won't create the groove in the same way. So you don't need to make big movements either.
Then we fix everything. So. And then you can just sharpen here on the outside. Or if it's a little bit too less, you go just a little bit more inside. Then you have more, you see, have much more space to use. And then it's just this a little bit. First apply a little bit water because we are filled a little bit higher. So, and then you see just less pressure, not too much. Oops. This is shows and demonstrates how important it is. And then it stops here. So it's really, and the thing is here, you get a flat surface here, and you get a hollow grind here. So if you don't like a hollow grind, just go on the outside to get a flat grind.
Perfect. I think we're getting close to the end. Do you have anything you want to add, Wolfgang, or are you satisfied?
I think I have explained everything, or if you have some more questions, if there are no questions, I think then we will...
We have a couple of questions that we won't have time to answer. Please comment below and we'll answer them afterwards in written.
Yep.
I think we will have to do for today. You did excellent work, Wolfgang.
You too,
as usual. I had a good time. I hope you had too, and you guys out there as well.
Always fun to show you some small tips and tricks. And yes. I think the format is very good for the future.
It's fun for us at least. And absolutely. Carl, you have been steady as a rock today. So thank you, both you guys. Please follow us on YouTube. Comment below what you thought about the episode, or if you have more questions, as I said. I'm looking forward to the next episode. Until then, stay safe and stay sharp. Thank you.
Bye.